Welcome back to the Missing 411 podcast. Our focus today is on encounters that challenge the very definition of a predator. Stories so intense they carve permanent scars into the psyche. We're going beyond the inexplicable vanishings and into a more terrifying realm. Confrontations with the unknown. These accounts from Texas, Tennessee, and Minnesota share a dark, unnerving consistency, echoing the deep dread found in so many of our most complex missing 411 cases. We begin on a ranch between Wimberley and Blanco, Texas, where the Hernandez family has lived with this phenomenon for generations. This isn't folklore. It's a multi-generational history, where the territorial boundaries are fiercely defended by something ancient. This continuous contact suggests a deep-rooted lineage, a family of cryptids coexisting with a human family, an anomaly that shouldn't exist in our modern world. It makes you wonder how many generations of secrets the land holds. The first clear account involves Shane Hernandez, a tough, practical man whose routine fence check turned into a nightmare. He was on horseback when the reddish-brown creature appeared, a figure of raw, muscular power that shattered his sense of reality. The confrontation was immediate and aggressive, leaving Shane thrown and injured, vulnerable on the Texas soil. That moment marked a clear transition from everyday life to the sudden horror of the paranormal. Shane was desperately trying to rearm himself when he realized the true horror. This wasn't an instinct-driven animal. When Shane raised his pistol, the Dogman, a being with no formal training, knew exactly what the weapon meant. It would rise, then instantly duck, showing a chilling tactical awareness, suggesting the creature possessed a high-level comprehension of threat and lethality. Its cognitive capacity remains one of the most perplexing mysteries in all of the missing 411 files we review. Shane barely made it to his neighbor's house that night, leaving his horse behind. When the mare returned, she bore a massive, deep gash on her flank, a silent, bloody piece of evidence that validated Shane's terror. He was hospitalized for weeks, but the deeper wounds were psychological, a direct hit to his soul. The creature was fast, silent, and precise, a phantom that struck and retreated into the unforgiving brush. Next, consider Cody, Shane's hard-headed younger brother, who was a committed skeptic until the moment he saw the gray-furred creature. Cody found it crouched by his chicken coop, casually devouring livestock and eggs, a disturbing scene of mundane predation amplified by its unnatural form. Cody reacted with immediate, aggressive intent, but the sight of the creature's familiarity with the farm and the casual consumption was almost more unsettling than its appearance. Perhaps the most psychologically devastating story belongs to Jojo, who was initially the family's strongest non-believer. Working alone late one night, he noticed movement at a construction site, and his skepticism evaporated instantly. After securing the front door, he looked through the peephole and saw only a terrifying void, a profound, absolute blackness that seemed to absorb the porch light. That moment was his initiation into a reality he couldn't deny. Jojo then heard the creature inside the attached garage, snuffling, growling, and moving with purpose. Realizing he was trapped, he made a frantic, desperate dash for his truck keys. As he fumbled to start the vehicle, he saw the final, paralyzing image. A jet-black head, like a monstrous wolf, peering through a broken window pane, its black, hairy paw hand reaching through the jagged glass. The ultimate twist of fate struck Jojo when he escaped, only to realize the cruel irony of his situation. His gun, which he believed was his last defense, had been secretly unloaded by his wife earlier that day. He had faced a predator with nothing but a worthless piece of metal. Returning later, the family found the garage door mangled, and a 2-inch gash scarred the dry wall, a sign of the creature's immense power and frustration at being thwarted. Our next location is hundreds of miles north, on Wagoner Hollow Road in Southwest Virginia, in 1981. Here, a 17-year-old named GT encountered a different manifestation of the terror. He was enjoying the roar of his loud, custom-built muscle car, completely unaware that the sound was about to announce his intrusion into a predator's territory. This was a classic case of mistaken identity, where technology invited a primeval response. Under the bright moonlight, GT saw a shadow detach from the tree-line and start running towards the road. This was no deer. It was moving impossibly fast on two legs, but with hocks, not human knees, a biological paradox in motion. This fluid, terrifying speed, coupled with the unnatural gait, instantly unnerved him. He knew, instinctively, that this creature was outside the laws of nature. As GT's car entered a curve, the creature decided to close the distance. It suddenly jumped the barbed wire fence and landed directly on the pavement beside his vehicle. The most chilling detail he recalled was that over the deafening roar of his engine, he could clearly hear the click-click-clacking of its large, heavy toenails hitting the asphalt. A sound so precise, so out of place, it confirms the creature's massive weight and speed. The jet-black Dogman towered over his car, easily 7 feet tall, and the terror intensified when GT locked eyes with it. He looked directly into big, black, soulless eyes that contained no light, no pupil, only the absolute void. He felt an immediate, overwhelming sense of pure evil, like his very soul was being scrutinized by an ancient force. This intense psychological invasion is a hallmark of many of the most severe cryptid encounters. The creature then pressed the assault, leaning its massive head into the open passenger window and grabbing the door with its huge, paw-like hand. It was actively jiggling the handle, trying to gain entry, breathing hot, putrid air that smelled of blood and decay into the car. In that horrifying moment, the creature curled its lip and licked its chops, a silent, menacing message that GT interpreted as, "You are my lunch." GT managed to escape only after flooring the car on a brief straightaway. As he sped off, the creature's immense nails scored a deep line across the top of his door, the permanent, physical proof of the near-fatal encounter. The trauma was so complete that GT lied about the marks and immediately traded the car. He could not bear the psychological weight of the vehicle that had been touched by true evil. The long-term effects were profound. GT never hunted again, developing a severe, debilitating anxiety about the woods near his home. For 35 years, he told no one, internalizing the terror until he finally found an outlet in reporting his experience. This suppression of a violent, life-altering event is a critical aspect of psychological survival in many of our missing 411 survivor accounts, but the anxiety remains. We now shift to northern Minnesota, where Dogmen and Sasquatch share territory on a remote ranch investigated by our team. This area is noted for its multi-generational cryptid activity, with families tracking the Dogman lineage for decades. The most prominent figure here is Alora, a female Dogman believed to be the leader of a matrilineal group, whose presence dictates the activity in the region. During the initial daytime reconnaissance with JD, a combat-trained veteran, they experienced the telltale sign of a nearby apex predator, the forest silence. The natural sounds of the woods would suddenly cease, an unnatural, immediate quiet that JD instantly recognized as a sign of danger. His immediate command, "Take a knee, seal your mouth." The narrator described this silence as a horrible, disgusting feeling of being hunted. The investigation uncovered physical evidence, including a massive, primitive lair, a structure made of manipulated branches and crushed earth 25 feet wide, a clear bedding site for something enormous and intelligent. As they left, JD noticed the trees jiggle, a deliberate attempt to bait them back into the trap, confirming the high intelligence and tactical nature of the creature. After dark, during the main mission, the situation escalated. Driving with only night vision, something large slammed into the rear bumper of the Jeep, immediately validating the narrator's deepest fears. Moments later, they encountered a trail inexplicably flooded with rushing water, an impossibility given the dry conditions, a clear, sophisticated trap to halt the vehicle. Then came the visual confirmation of a new, unsettling detail. The narrator looked out and saw a Dogman's head, black with silvery tips, standing 8 feet high in the trees. The height was what mentally broke the mind's ability to cope. Seeing a large dog's head so far off the ground is simply not a normal input for the human brain. The creature was stationary, just watching. The technological interference began immediately after the sighting. As JD tried to check the surroundings with his tactical flashlight, it failed instantly. Simultaneously, The narrator's fully charged phone in the glove compartment was found to be completely drained. This sudden, inexplicable power loss is a signature phenomenon often noted in the most confounding missing 411 cases. The final act of the encounter was the most terrifying. Right after the power failed, the creature slammed the car again. When JD attempted to escape, the gas pedal would not respond. It was completely dead. For a few terrifying seconds, they were trapped, until the car violently lurched forward, breaking free. The creature was actively working to immobilize them, suggesting a dark, malevolent sentience unlike anything we've ever cataloged. These encounters, spanning thousands of miles and decades, reveal a consistent truth. The creatures are intelligent, territorial, and actively working to avoid detection or, conversely, to trap and eliminate perceived threats. The sheer terror and the inexplicable details, from technological failures to conscious weapon avoidance, compel us to ask the same terrifying question we ask in every missing 411 investigation. What, precisely, are we sharing the woods with? Thank you for listening.